Hello and welcome back to the Preppy podcast. Thank you guys so much for being here and listening today. As always, we have a fabulous episode. I am chatting with the founders of Wanderful, who they have the most innovative bag to carry your water bottles in. It's something that I really enjoyed their conversation of how they came up with this because it sort of combines fashion and convenience. And I mean, who isn't carrying around a giant water bottle these days? They're like part of an accessory. So they came up with a way to carry them so that you don't lose them, so that you look chic. And I just love this product for travel, for every day, as well as our Camp Preppy Colorado campers are actually going to get one of their wonderful bags to try and use in person during camp. And I just think it's so ideal for the outdoorsy lifestyle of Colorado. And it's so funny because ever since I've interviewed the founders and discovered the brand, I have been seeing their bags all over the place. Like when I've been traveling on vacation, at the country club, just truly everywhere. It's clearly a hit. It was featured on Oprah. And we get into so much more, how they came up with it, some of the pinch me moments, the challenges, exactly what makes their bags so different and so useful. And they were generous to give us a discount. If you use the code PREPPYPOD, you get 20% off. So definitely check that out. But let's get into this week's episode. But before we do so, just a reminder, you guys totally should join Club Preppy, which is our monthly subscription. We do at least one virtual event per month. So think of things like wine tasting, cooking classes, style workshops. Plus, they get an amazing little gift from me in the mail. It's a great community. I think so many of you are sleeping on it because it truly is so much fun and such a valuable tool to hear from these experts, make those connections firsthand, learn a new skill or hobby, and connect with other prepsters. So you can find out more information at thepreppypodcast.com. But now let's get into the interview. Okay, well, why don't you ladies first let everyone know who you are, where you live, and what you do?
Hi, I'm Katie Hill. I'm along with Lisa Watkins, the co-founder of Wanderful Brand. We live in Fairfield County, Connecticut, and like I said, we are the co-founders of Wanderful. And I'll let Lisa speak for herself.
You've said it all already so well. So I'm Lisa Watkins, and there's not much more I can add than that. But yeah, her better half. Take that back. I've not had enough sleep, Patricia. So would you
You're
would you
good. You're
mind?
good.
I'm Lisa Watkins, co-founder of Wanderful. Also live in Fairfield County, Connecticut, although I'm originally from Chicago.
Excellent. Okay, well, that leads me then to my first question. My listeners know that I love to start at the beginning. So tell me a little bit about you ladies as kids, because I find so much of who we were as kids like comes back later and we like refine ourselves almost. So what were you like? Were you entrepreneurial, like had a lemonade stand? Were you creative, like always drawing and making things? Or were you just someone that loved to learn? Tell me a little bit.
I have to start here because this is Katie, I always loved fashion from the time I was a little girl. And I always knew that's what I wanted to do. And I did work in the fashion industry from the time I got out of school for many years. I would dress my mom, I would dress like everybody. And I always wanted to own my own business. So creating Wanderful with Lisa has been like a full circle moment for me, taking my career in the fashion industry and making it my own, our own brand. So I love that question. It's always been in me, and I feel like this is kind of my whole life coming full circle.
I love that question too. It's a great question. I was very different from Katie. I was a tomboy and I played a lot of sports and loved sports, but I was also very, I know Katie was too. Both of us were academic, but I was also bossy. My parents tell stories that I would like fire our babysitters and I'd say, "You're not coming back." And
some things never change.
some things never change. And I always wanted to own my own business. And when people would ask me what I wanted to be when I grew up, I would say, I want to run my own company. And I didn't know what that would be or what it looked like. And when I started to, be out in the workplace in my early 20s, and I worked in business, and it was like all I could think about all the time. I just really wanted to have my own company, but not sure what it would be or what it would look like. And, it just always seemed so daunting. And I was so awed by and inspired by people that actually took the leap and did it. And so,
Yeah.
yeah. And so, and here we are, we've taken the leap, and what a
You're
leap it
doing
is.
it. I love that. I feel like you guys and I would get along so well because I it was very similar. Like I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I always knew I wanted to be the boss. And I always loved fashion and I hated working for someone else. So I feel like we would totally get along. But then tell me a little bit about so when it comes time for college, where and what did you guys end up studying? Was it like business, entrepreneurship, fashion, or was it something else?
So I went to University of Pennsylvania, and my father was a doctor, and my mom was in real estate, but I didn't have parents who were like business people. So I didn't really understand as a teenager what the business jobs were, right? Like my parents weren't in finance or traditional business disciplines. So I didn't really know what there was to offer. So I went to Penn and I became a psychology major just because I really liked it and I thought it was really interesting. And I didn't really know kind of what my next step was going to be, but I thought it was a good background for whatever I wanted to do. And I have actually found that it's been very helpful throughout life. And then when I graduated, I went through recruiting processes and, found my first job in tech in like a business training program in California. And so started there. And then I worked in Silicon Valley for 5 years. Then I got my MBA at Kellogg. And then I was in consumer packaged goods at Unilever. And
Okay.
then started having babies and couldn't, it was very difficult to do the full-time thing because they wanted us to travel a lot. Like you're going to go to Asia for 4 weeks, and I couldn't do that. So I started doing consulting on my own. And that was kind of my first foray into entrepreneurship, where I quit working full-time corporate. And I said, okay, I'm going to try to figure this out. And I met someone on a plane who was working, doing like consumer insights market research, which I had experience in from Unilever, and using a new technology to do it. And they were franchising it. So I did that first on my own and like was able to find my own clients. I had large pharmaceutical companies because I started just finding RFPs online and submitting bids and got clients, and then it just built from there. So anyway.
Very cool. I feel like consulting is like the gateway for a lot of people to entrepreneurship. I have to be honest, right? It's a good first step. Now, what about you? Tell me a little bit about your college and first career journey.
So, as I said, I always wanted to be in fashion when I was young, but I also wanted to leave my options open. So, I did go into college with the idea of getting a degree in business because I knew that if for whatever reason I wasn't happy in fashion, it would afford me other opportunities. So, I went to the University of Virginia and I was in the commerce school, and I actually have a double major in Spanish, which I may have let lapse just a little bit, but I still, use it here and there. But in any case, so I have my degree in business, and out of school, I got a job in the management training program for Saks Fifth Avenue. Worked my way up at Saks to become a buyer. I was actually the first buyer when they launched Saks.com. And I actually moved around to a few different companies and helped launch a few different .coms back in the day. I'm dating myself, but that was very exciting. And then I actually did take a leave from work to raise my three kids. I always really wanted to be home with my kids, so I did, but it was always in my mind, like, what's going to be next? I knew that my story wasn't done from a work perspective. And I did, a few things before we launched Wanderful. But Lisa is always, kind of charging forward. And we were friends first before we
Yeah,
started
how
this.
did you meet?
Yeah, friends and neighbors. We actually lived until she moved about, 7, 8 months ago. We lived I don't know, 6, 7 houses apart from each other. And we were friends, our kids are friends. And Lisa was like, I want to start a business. And I was like, ooh, 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 pick me. Let's do it together. So that's kind of how it started. Yeah. We
Okay.
actually, speaking of how we met through mutual friends at a mom dinner, but we did a PTA.
Our
What's
oldest
that?
sons were in second grade at the time, just starting second grade, and they're now both in college. So it was a very long time ago. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then fast forward, we worked on a project for our PTA at their elementary school. And I have to admit, we kind of knocked it out of the park. So we had good evidence that we work well together. So,
It was a
yeah.
Halloween party for 800 people. And
Wow.
yeah, so we did that 2 years in a row. And then I was like, I'm done. I'm never volunteering again. Katie kept doing it. I was out.
I
But
kept
it went
doing
really
it.
well and we enjoyed working together. And then, yeah, I just was like, I just really wanted to start a business and I felt like I'm not getting any younger. And so I started listening to podcasts and kind of figuring out what I wanted to do. And I actually listened to podcasts for a good year
Okay.
before. And even though I had formal business education for my MBA program, like things have changed so much, right? Like with technology, what you learned 20 years ago is not
Yeah.
what's relevant today. And so I felt like it was very important to catch up on what is happening now in the marketplace and with different platforms and like Amazon and TikTok and all of the different ways that one can make money, frankly. And so I did a lot of research, and then I told Katie, I was like, okay, this is what I'm doing. And yeah, she's like, I want to do it too. I was like, great, let's go. And
I love that. So it sounds like you both had this passion to start something, to be an entrepreneur, and then really to work together. So how did you land on what the product offering would be? Like how did that aha moment come?
so I
So
did not want to do this at all, I will say. Because I am not, remember, I'm a tomboy. Like, I don't like clothes. I'm not a big shopper. I don't like fashion. It's not my thing. And so this was so out of my wheelhouse,
Mhm.
but I will let, so it was Katie's idea. And of course, she was right. It's a great one. But I wanted to do something much less sort of fashionable and trendy and something I always joke like toothpicks, something that's very easy.
Yeah.
Anyway, I will let Katie tell the story of how we.
yeah, so when we decided we were going to start a business, we would, like I said, we were neighbors, very close. We lived very close, and we would go to each other's house and ideate on what we wanted to do. And I, always have been very into both fitness, of course, fashion, but also health, nutrition, etc. So I was always carrying around my water bottle. And while we originally wanted to start before COVID, because we both have 3 kids, we both kind of hunkered down for COVID. And then like 2022, we were like, all right, it's time. It's now or never, right? And so
Late 2021, we really,
late 2021.
we
Okay.
launched in 22. Sorry. Yeah.
Yes, my bad. Right. So I was, meeting with Lisa with my water bottle in tow. And I was like, Lisa, and I also lived in New York City for many years, many, many years before moving to Connecticut because I was pregnant with my 3rd child. And I was like, Lisa, I want to be able to go into the city and I want to bring my water bottle. I don't like plastic water bottles. I don't like, buying them, throwing them away, rinse, repeat. I wanted to bring my bottle, but I was like, I don't want to carry it. And I said, I would love a bag that I could carry my water bottle and all of my essentials, right?
Mhm.
And I said, I think we should do a bag like that. I said, I know they exist out there, but they're not very stylish, right? They're more like just black neoprene meant for hiking. Well, then from my experience as a buyer and merchandising, I know to like kind of look at the runways and see what's happening and what the designers are kind of introducing. And I started noticing coming down the runway, they were sending like water bottles on like, straps or whatever. Designers were doing it in all different ways. And I was like, Lisa, this is happening. And I want to, meet in the middle for something that's very stylish but affordable, because it's a matter of time before it happens, and I want to get there first. And
And
so
I was like,
Lisa,
eh, I don't know. Who's like, are people really going to want to carry a bag just for their water bottle? Like people love their designer handbags, whatever. But uh sorry. So I went over to Katie's house one day and I had a 32-ounce bottle of water and I threw it in my tote bag with my computer. By the time I got to her house, which was 8 houses away, the entire thing had dumped into my
Mm.
bag. So I'm
Yeah.
literally pouring the bag into the sink. And I was like, I think this is the universe's way of saying we should do this,
Hmm.
because it drowned my computer and everything. And so we did. And Katie was absolutely right. And what, you know, we identified was like this great white space of you had the runways, as Katie mentioned, it would be like a Chanel strap for $2,000, which didn't even hold your phone, or there would be a $10 neoprene sleeve on Amazon that no woman would ever want to wear out in public. And there was this whole big white space. There was nothing in between. And so what we did, we sat down at her kitchen counter actually, and we created out of a paper prototype like what we thought it should look like, and aesthetically what it should look like and the features it should have, and all of that, and just designed it ourselves. And our very first iteration, we had 5 colors. That was
Okay.
it. Now we have hundreds of SKUs, but we had 5. And apparently, when I had said to her, who's going to want to buy a bottle bag? Apparently, thousands and thousands and thousands of women, including
Yeah.
myself now, want to buy water bottle bags. And so, yeah, it's just been amazing. Like, it's really taken off and it's been such a ride. So,
That is such a cool story. And I love how you like were just smart enough to go and look at the runway, see what's happening, and then come up with this. Because I was curious, like, how this idea came up. I know everyone carries their big water bottle everywhere. I've been in the position, mostly at the airport, where my water bottle breaks open in a giant tote bag and gets all over everything. So it's truly so smart. And then I love putting a stylish spin on it. So then what from idea from chatting, coming up with a prototype to launching a website, like what did that in between look like? Like how were you finding manufacturers? Was it just something on you were Googling or did you have connections then? What time period from idea to launch did that take? I'd love to hear more about that, in between area.
absolutely. I mean, there are so many parts of starting a business, right? From, setting up the LLC to figuring out what's your business name going to be to, I mean, there are so many things that people don't think about in addition to just getting the product made. So we were working together on all of that. And then at the same time, designing the prototype and finding the factories. And Katie, I'll let, if you want to go ahead, how we found the factories, et cetera.
yeah. So because I come from that industry, I had some knowledge about how to vet factories, and we do have it produced overseas, because even though we said it'd be great to do it here in the US, we tried, and it's just unfortunately too expensive, right? So we found a bunch of different factories, and
Just to
just kind of,
interject for 1 second, this is where the podcast that I listened to came in really handy too,
Yeah.
because I listened to hours and hours and hours of other entrepreneurs talking about how they got started, similar to like what your listeners might be doing right now, right?
Mhm.
And learning the best ways to vet the factories, and what to look for, like in addition to Katie's knowledge. But I mean, all the podcasts and things really, really helped. And we did it all online. I mean, a lot of entrepreneurs, the thing that's funny is we have this very successful business. We've not been to Asia, and we were going to
do we want
go
to admit that?
I think a lot of honestly, I think a lot of people haven't been to their manufacturers these days because everything can be done online now, like
you can do it online, like with, right, I mean, video calls and Zoom and
and
so on and so
WhatsApp
forth.
and
We had a trip planned, and the funny thing is our trip was planned for March of 2020. And I think we all know what happened in March of 2020, and our
yeah.
trip was immediately canceled and it didn't happen. And every time we've said, okay, we're going, it just feels too busy and too difficult. And
Yeah.
like we're running a million miles a minute, but we are going to go in October and visit our factories and go to, so Canton Fair is actually, to give you specifics, Canton Fair is a fair in China where, you know, thousands of factories come and show all their wares. And so you can go and see like the quality and what are they producing and what are they producing for who and where is it distributed. And I mean, you might find something really cool that a factory is making for their Japanese customers that's only in Japan. And
Yeah.
you say, wow, like if I took that and tweaked it for the US market, like this would be really cool, right? Or, oh, I have an idea for um, a water bottle bag, and I know this company makes bags. I like the quality of their bags. I like sort of, you know, some of the designs that are different, and so I wonder if they could do this or that, right? But the biggest thing that as an entrepreneur you don't want to do, right, is like a me too type of product. Say, oh,
Yeah.
like, well, I love, you know, I don't know, gold bangle bracelets and I want to do gold bang. You know, there are thousands of them out there. And so, well, how is yours going to be different? And is it going to solve a
Right.
problem? And so I think that's where people sometimes don't remember that like you have to be different and you have
Mm-hmm.
to, it also helps to solve a problem. So
Yes. Yeah. A thousand
So
percent.
I just wanted to say too, besides like, you know, my background in knowing how to vet a factory, that does not mean that like there were not plenty of bumps along the way. You know, we just deal with it as it comes, right? You're learning, you're growing, and you figure out a way to make things right and keep on going. We've had quality issues that we've had to deal with, but like now we're still with the same factory that we were at the beginning, and we had a lot of issues, and now it's like amazing, and they do everything so perfectly, but it's been a work in progress, like so much of our business, right?
can we tell
You
the
look like
story of our first production run, Katie? I think we can at this point. It's so funny. So, our very first production run, we ordered 800 units across five
Okay.
colors. And, you know, we'd had samples back and forth and we approved them. We're like, okay, great. So, we were trying to decide because a lot of people said, you know, you should. So, Amazon was one of our platforms. Like, you should send it straight to Amazon because you don't want to pay to have it shipped to you in the US and then ship it from the US to Amazon. And we decided ultimately we really need to take a look at these and look at the quality and make sure. So
Yeah.
we got them and we inspected every single unit, and about half of them did not pass our inspection. They were
Oh
not
no.
up to our standard. And things like threads popping and things like that. And we were like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? Because, you know, we started this business obviously with our personal money and had a lot sunk into it. And so we ended up saying, okay, we have to fix every single bag. And Katie's like, well, I know how to sew. I can. So Katie would literally sit on the couch at night, like watching TV with her kids and be like hand sewing
Fixing?
these bags to fix them to make sure that they were perfect. And then we ended up, I'm like, okay, we like we can't have you doing this. Like we gotta, there's all this other stuff we have to do. We ended up finding like a seamstress. We would like take deliveries to her house and like drop off like 30 bags at a time and she'd fix them and we'd take them back and then, you know, package them and sell them. I mean, it was insane. And we ended up being able to salvage most of them and sell them and make them up to our standards. But it was such a good lesson that like you really have to be micromanaging the quality. And that's why our people love our products because to this day, we, even though we're ordering thousands at a time now, like we inspect all of them.
we're pretty fanatical about our quality. Yeah.
Yeah, we make sure that the quality is there. And it, you know, we started out, our first production run was 800 units. We sold the very first one to a mutual friend of ours. And we said, how are we going to sell the other 799? And fast forward, we like shipped and sold
44,000.
44,000 from my house and Katie's house, like
Oh my
shipped
gosh.
ourselves.
Yeah.
And we had bags. I mean, my husband is such a patient saint of a person. we had boxes like in 4 rooms in my house, my garage, Katie's garage, and we would hire au pairs from like local au pairs. So when the kids that they were taking care of were at school during school hours from 9 to 3, they would come over and help fill orders and ship. And then Katie and I would take over at 3 and fill more orders. And then we would take these huge loads like to UPS and USPS. And then we started having them come and do pickups. And my neighbors like thought I was crazy because they'd like they'd walk their dogs past the house, and on my porch, I'd have like, you know,
A
60
million
or
bucks.
80 boxes that all had to go out. It was very funny. So
I love that though. Like, I think sometimes entrepreneurship gets glamorized, and there were a few points that I think are important. And the one is that like you guys were willing to get down and dirty and do like the little jobs, right? And
Very
that's
down and very dirty.
yes,
very
with
down and
every
dirty.
entrepreneur, like no job, no task is too small. Like you have to be willing to do it all and to make it work, right? So I think sharing that is so important because, like I said, sometimes it gets glamorized. Now, I'm curious. So you have the product. Like, what was your launch plan? Because you mentioned launching on Amazon, so that was part of the initial plan, like launch on Amazon and your website. Like, did you create social media? Kind of, how did you get the product out there then to customers?
So ironically, we originally planned to just be an Amazon and D2C business.
Okay.
And as soon as we did launch, Lisa started doing, posts on like Instagram, on social media. And ironically, what's
I
that?
just have to interject. I hate social media, hate it. And Katie and I were both in our late 40s when we started our business, right? And so there was a lot that we had to learn. Neither of us are big social media people. So not just that, I mean, learning Amazon, Shopify, I built our website myself. Like I
Right.
taught myself how to do it. I mean, you can learn anything these days through YouTube and a podcast, right?
Yeah.
It's just sitting down and doing it. And
Hmm.
then the social media. So the first week we launched, we coordinated, we were having social media, Shopify, and Amazon.
Okay.
And go ahead, Katie.
Yeah, and so Lisa started putting, ads out for our bags, and very soon, very quickly, we got a response from somebody who does pop-up shops, and she
Okay.
was like, "Oh, I love your bags. I really want to carry them." We were like, "Well, that wasn't the plan," but Lisa was like, "Let's try it," and we were like, "All right." So we try it, and I mean, this woman to this day, we call her our, OG because she started selling them, and pretty soon she was ordering by the dozen, then the caseload, which is 50 units, and then like multiple cases. And to this day, I mean, she has done well over 6 figures with us in 4 years, and she's a dynamo. And she started selling them so well, and we were like, I don't know, maybe we need to look into this. So we did a few pop-up shops, and the next thing we know, we're at the Javits, doing wholesale trade shows, and
Mhm.
it's just been like a rocket ship ever since.
Can I tell that story?
Yeah.
So I have really bad back problems because I was in a car accident years ago. So I don't like to stand for long periods of time. So we did like the mom, like there was a Mother's Day little pop-up thing in
Mhm.
Westport, like in a parking lot, right? And so like moms would come by and buy gifts. And we did well and we got good feedback on the bags. And Katie was really excited. And she's like, we should do more of these. And I just looked at her. I was like, girl, if I'm going to stand all day, like we're going to the Javits Center. Like I am not doing these little
Yeah.
pop-up shops. And we were nervous to do it. And, it was expensive, but we took the risk. And I think it was a good calculated risk. And we just knocked it out of the park. We made our money back by noon the first day of like the 4 day show.
Oh,
And then
amazing.
everything past noon the first day was just gravy. And we opened up, how many stores did we open?
Like 130 or 40 in that show.
So like
So
that, we
that's,
were in 140 stores from that
Wow.
one trade
yeah.
show.
What do you think was that element that made you guys successful then? What do you think, you mentioned earlier having this product solving a problem and doing something no one else was. Do you think that really was the secret sauce? Or do you think, it was you had all these different patterns and colors and designs, like the fact that people were just naturally carrying water at the time. Like what do you think really set you guys up for success?
I think that we just had the right product at the
Yeah.
right time, right? I mean, when we created this, as I said to Lisa, you see everybody running around with a water bottle in one hand and a phone in the other hand, and we
Mhm.
only have two hands. We got to free them up, right?
Yeah.
And more people like me not only want to carry their water and all of their essentials, but they want to be environmentally friendly, right? So it's a way to carry a reusable water bottle. And oh, by the way, environmentally friendly and wallet friendly because you save so much money. Lisa and I now travel so much with this business.
Yeah.
And I mean, we all know you go to the airport and you're paying like stupid amount, $6, $8 for a bottle of water. Our
Yeah.
favorite is we were in Las Vegas for a show, and our hotel, which was not even like the highest end hotel, they wanted to charge us $13 for a bottle of water because we
Wow.
couldn't find like a filling station there. And we were like, are you kidding me right now?
And
So
water's not optional. I mean,
Yeah.
as human
Good
beings,
point.
we have to have water or we die. So
Mhm.
it's so annoying to get price gouged like that. But the other thing too is that people are spending a lot of money on their water bottle and then it's in their hand and they set it down and they walk away. I mean, we would laugh because at our trade show, there would be buyers coming in and they would leave their water bottles in our booth and forget them. And it's like, well, if you had our bag, you wouldn't forget your water bottle and you wouldn't
Yeah.
have to replace it because you carry it with you. We would find water bottles in the ladies' room that people left.
Mm.
So it does save you a lot of money and I mean, you pay back the cost of your bag very quickly with all of the beverages that you aren't then buying
Yeah.
or replacing your water bottle. And by the way, it also fits a bottle of wine, which is very
Oh,
important.
that's good to know too. Good for a BYO.
and for gifting, right? Because everybody's always needing a new birthday gift or Mother's Day gift or a holiday gift or, whatever.
Hostess
Uh-huh.
gift.
That is, yeah, a major selling point of our bags.
I'd love to talk a little bit about the design too, because I know, you guys have so many prints. We did a really cute preppy plaid for Camp Preppy, but you have stripes, you have, corduroys I saw even coming for fall. Like you even have game day and more for college students. Like, how did you develop the assortment of prints and colors and decide on what to add? Like, are you looking at fashion trends again there?
So we definitely, when we're doing a new collection, we look at what's kind of trending, coming down the runway. But at the same point, we're not beholden to that because we know that we're not necessarily like high fashion, but we want to be kind of in lockstep with where color trends and whatnot are. But then we also look at our different segments because our bag works in so many ways, whether it's for the woman who's, just life on the go for travel, things like that. But we also cater to things like country clubs, right? Where we have, embroideries for golf, tennis, pickleball, and the plaids and things like that. Or we have ones for particular schools, school colors. So we have just so many different, roads that we're kind of roaming,
Yeah.
and thus all of our different colors.
But to your point, we do a lot of research as far as what's coming down the runway, what color trends are, Pantone color trends, Vogue, etc. And then we take what we like and we don't do what we don't like. Like if a color is supposed to be super hot and we don't like it, and we don't think our customer will like it, we won't do it. But
Yeah.
and then if there's something else that might not be the coolest thing, but like we have a segment of our customer base that just happens to love X and we know they love it, we'll do it.
Yeah.
So we kind of, yeah.
And we really listen to our customers, whether it's our D2C customers or our wholesale customers, right? We're interfacing with the buyers at these wholesale shows and hearing like, oh, we're just selling this so well and we love this. And, or what do you think about doing this? So we're just always kind of getting that feedback. So.
So I'm curious, like a pinch me moment, and I know that you were featured in Oprah magazine. So I'm curious if that was like a big pinch me moment that changed things for the business, or if there's another, and sort of the story behind that, or whatever that pinch me moment may be.
So I'm going to start here. So that first show that we talked about where we gained like 130, 140 customers, that was August of 2022. And then we did our second show in January 2023. And by our third show, which was right after that, so it was like two shows back to back in January. I remember our first one, we got some really big things happening and we were like so excited. And I remember saying to Lisa, because we had heard like, oh, Oprah's people are at the show and like it would be amazing if they, come to your booth or whatever. And so we had two things happen, and we all know that things happen in threes, right? So
Yeah.
going into the second show of January, we were like, now we just need Oprah's people to come. Now we just need them to come. And wouldn't you know it, in they walk, while we're super busy. And I was just like, oh my gosh, Lisa and I are big believers in like putting out in the universe what you want to happen, right? It comes back to you. And that was the start.
To interject that point, so when we were sitting at Katie's kitchen counter with our paper prototype,
Yep.
I made a joke. And I'm like, okay, like we're gonna get on Oprah's favorite things. Like this is gonna be amazing, and we're gonna be on Oprah's favorite things. And she's like, okay. And it was like a joke. And we would say it all the time. We're gonna be on Oprah's favorite things. And so sure enough, we go to the shows, and one of the first pinch me's was we were on Good Morning America found us, and they wanted to put us on Deals and Steals, and that was like incredibly exciting. And so that was like the first time where we were like, wow, like this could really be amazing. But then Oprah's people, we noticed they were watching us because there was another entrepreneur we had met who knew who they were, and um, so we started talking to them, and they asked for samples. And I have a video of Katie from years ago where like we're in our like sweats and we're packing up this box of samples to send to Oprah and her people. And and I was like, all right, Katie, what is this for? And she picks up the box. She's like, it's for Oprah's favorite things. Like, we hope Oprah likes it. And, and she did. And we were so blessed. It was so exciting. And so we were picked as one of Oprah's favorite things in 2023 and 2024. And yes, it really blew up our business.
Yeah. I mean, we were already very blessed to have our business growing organically. And then that happened we found out in September and it launched November 1st, 2023. And I mean, that just took us to another stratosphere. So it was insane. Yeah.
I love that. I'm curious, what is your favorite product pattern on your website right now? And then what's the best seller? Because I don't think we talked about the other, like besides the bag that holds the water bottles, you also have like purses and other ones as well.
So I want to just clarify that every single bag that we do
Okay.
carries a water bottle or a
Okay.
bottle of wine. So our best-selling bag, our original bag, is the hydro bag, which is to carry
Good.
up to a 32-ounce bottle and your phone and your credit cards and your passport, lip gloss, all that jazz. But we have other iterations, and honestly, one that I carry a lot and I love is our hydro hobo. So it's a hobo bag, but it has a place and it actually ships with a 12-ounce water bottle. Because so while you can't carry like a 24 or 32-ounce water bottle, there's so many filling stations these days.
Yeah.
Who needs to necessarily carry all of that? So yeah, if you want to open it up and show,
Yeah, show me, because I didn't realize. Yeah, so how does the water bottle fit in there then?
You know what? I don't know that I have a mini in my home office. Let me just
show her the sleeve where, yeah.
So this might be, well, there's so many amazing parts of this. I'm just seeing if I have, hold on. I'll put my water glass in it so that you can see. But so if you look here, it's really hard to see because it's black. But my glass is in here. It's like a neoprene sleeve. And there's a
perfect.
that tightens. So what's really cool is that you can, and here's a key leash, by the way, so you don't lose your keys, but you can, zip the bag, and you have a hidden water bottle in here, which is really nice because no one knows that you're carrying it. So it's not like, hi, this is my water bottle bag. And one of my favorite features of it is that there's this hidden magnetic pocket here. So you have very easy, like in and out for your phone, your AirPods, what have you. So you don't have to unzip the bag and open it to get what you need. This is super comfortable, and then you can wear it cross-body or you can wear it over your shoulder. So
And there's also a longer strap that you can wear at crossbody. So it's everything we do, we try to make it very multifunctional. And just, yeah, we wear everything that we make and we'll make changes. But that's a bag that I wear all the time.
I love that because it not only, I feel like some, purses have a little spot for your water bottle, but I love how it's intentionally designed for the water bottle, like with that drawstring. So it actually is secure, like we talked about.
Yes. Lisa can tell you, because we joke about like, what's the worst spill that you've had besides her tote? One was spilling with her water and goldfish and making just like a nasty goldfishy, muck on the bottom.
absolutely disgusting. And it was like this like designer tote bag, which these days I end up calling like a garbage bag because it's just like you just throw everything in it. And yes, I had goldfish in there for one of my kids and water spilled and I mean, it was disgusting. I had to throw it away. I couldn't even salvage it. So so it's a good segue because my favorite bag right now, um, and the great thing is we get to try all of them is our tote bag. And I
Ooh,
didn't plan this, by the way. So this is my actual tote bag that I use, and I probably have a
okay.
lot of stuff shoved in here. But what's great about this, there's a trolley sleeve, so you can put it on your suitcase. And then you can also, if you're not using your suitcase, you zip this, and now it's just another pocket, which is
Oh,
great. It
that's
also has the hidden
genius.
it has the hidden magnetic pocket as well for the phone, kind of like the easy in and out, so you don't have to unzip. And then on the inside, of course, we have a water bottle. This is a little bit easier to see because it's lighter color. And again, this is embarrassing because I didn't plan this, so I have no idea what the inside looks like right now. Um, and it's a little bit hard to see, but there's a sleeve here where you can put a full size
Okay.
water bottle in, and it will keep it nice and secure. You are not going to spill it and have a goldfish mess like I did. It comes with a laptop sleeve right here. And the laptop sleeve actually is removable, obviously. And then it also kind of buttons in because one of the things we didn't like, and this is where Katie and I get very into the design, like we wear test things and we
Yeah.
design them according to like problems or issues that we have with other products. I tend to overstuff my bags. So sometimes I don't want to take my laptop sleeve out because when I try to put it back in, I can't fit it. So I would rather it be clipped into place and I can just unzip it, take my laptop out, put my laptop back in, and not worry about fussing with it. But there
Yeah.
are times I have, taken it out. So I love that feature. And then we have, and it's just hard to show you, I'm so sorry, but there we have all these little pockets. Like we have pockets for glasses because we all have either regular glasses, sunglasses, reading glasses, a great zip pocket for your wallet, etc. And it's just I love traveling with it. It's like the easiest bag in the world, and it's super super comfy because of the straps, which are very cushy. So
This looks like seriously the perfect travel bag. And I love how where you can slide it on a suitcase that can zip close and use it as another pocket. Like just so genius, ladies.
Thank
thank you.
you.
And then of course our Hydra bags too. Katie and I carry all the time. And I mean, I have my routine down because we travel a lot. I have my Hydra bag, which here we'll show you. This is our Sage, although I don't think I have the strap on here. I'm sorry that we didn't plan this better with the
No,
props,
you're
but
good. And
this
I'm
is
putting you on
our
the spot.
yeah, and I don't even have one of our water bottles right at my desk, do I? No. Next time I got to do
I,
this in the office. So Katie can show the water bottle. So we usually
Beautiful.
have a beautiful one with a gold top, but here is like a plastic one. So I mean, they all
Yeah.
fit. And then this is a sample, so this is wrapped in plastic. If you're wondering why the zipper looks funny, but it's very pretty gold hardware with our logo. So here is for your phone. It's water resistant, and the Pro Maxes all fit in it. You can also put like your phone and glasses and fit that in here. And then here inside, this inside pocket is perfect for your passport. So it's a perfect size. So you can stick your passport or cash in this sort of hidden
Okay.
pocket. There are slots for hotel room keys, your ID, credit cards, etc. And then there's also enough room to put car keys or a wallet or whatever you need.
Okay.
And
lip
so
gloss.
Yeah.
lip gloss, etc. So what my routine is like, I will wear this in the airport crossbody. I have my tote bag and my rolly, And then I have my ID and my water, like very accessible, easy peasy, going through security, hanging out at the gate. Right before I board, I just pop this in my tote bag and I just board the plane. So I have my 2 items, but I know like where everything is. It's all consolidated. I'm not like looking around for everything. And then you have these rings that you can clip other things onto, AirPods, sanitizer, whatever. And some of our straps have additional rings where you can hook things as well. And one of our customers, seeing if I have one here. I don't. Do you have a vegan leather strap on you, Katie?
I do, but yeah,
But there's
hold
like
on
a
one
little
second.
ring on some of our fancier straps. And like one of our customers, I love it. She walked up to us and she had her readers hooked through it. And I'm like, that's genius.
Oh,
That's what she's using it for. So I
yeah.
do that now. I do that now too because I definitely need reading glasses. Yeah. So
I love how hands-free it is and like everything stays organized and easy to access.
Here's our vegan leather strap. So this is getting a little bit of a sneak peek, but we do this in a handle version, and now we're going to do it in a hydro bag, version. It's canvas. I don't know if you can
Okay,
see.
pretty. Yes.
Um, but this is one of our straps. Oops, I have it turned around. You can see you can hang things here as well.
is that
So
a handle bag, Katie? Do you want to show that
this
feature?
is this is actually the hydro bag, but I can get a
So we
handle.
have a version that's a little bigger that has a side zip. So for people that carry
Oh,
Stanleys
geez.
with the handled tumbler, you can unzip it and then the handle fits through, or you can zip it up and then use it for a regular water bottle. So it's very versatile, which is nice because there are
Yep.
some people that do like the handled tumblers. So we have that
Yes.
covered as
Yeah. Yep. No, I know exactly what you mean. Well, this was so fabulous. Getting a little, I feel like a fashion show almost.
Here we go. Okay. So here's our
Okay.
blush
Yep.
handle, and you can see I'm holding the handle here. So
Yep.
there's a zipper that you can unzip to put your handle in, or if you want to use it with a regular water bottle, you just, take this out, obviously, zip it up, and it's a slightly larger version of our hydro bag. We call this
Oh
the
my
hydro
gosh.
bag handle.
So
So
fabulous. I love this.
thank
Thank you
you.
so much for walking us through them all. So, since this is the Preppy podcast, I'm curious, what does Preppy mean to each of you? How would you describe it?
I think preppy to me means timeless and tasteful and classic. I mean, that really is what preppy is to me, right? That it's sort of transcends fads and trends. It's still like hip and cool, but it's just timeless and tasteful. I guess that's what it means to me.
That's
Yeah.
that's good. I definitely like classic. I also think that preppy can not only just be an outward, look, but also I equate preppy and peppy, kind of like a state of mind of like kind of exuberance. I don't know.
Yes. I love both of those answers, ladies. I'm curious for listeners, and you shared some of these earlier, but what's like a resource or a tip in terms of business or entrepreneurship you could share? Like it could be a book, a podcast, a YouTube series, or just like a tip in general.
So
Um,
my tip in general is that find people that are doing what you want to do, right? So if you want to be an entrepreneur, try to find a group of entrepreneurs. There are different they're called masterminds where you can join and it's like a group of hundreds of people all working toward the same goal. And you learn so much. I mean, there's no reason to try to figure everything out yourself from square one because so many people have been there, done that, and have made mistakes, and they're happy to teach you and tell you. And so that goes along with like books, podcasts, etc. If you can't find other actual, people who have been doing it. But for me, that's like the biggest thing, I think.
Yeah. Don't do it alone. Find someone, right? Find your group.
One thing I find myself telling people that want to start their own business, I always say to Lisa, I'm so thankful that we're business partners because some people want to go it alone.
Yeah.
And I cannot imagine doing this business without Lisa. Like, we just complement each other so well. We kind of bring complementary skills and points of view. We jokingly say, like, our employees call us mom and dad. But because we jokingly say we're like, married to each other because of our business, but
Yeah.
we bring very separate points of view, but we kind of like wrestle until we come to a good meeting point. It generally
Yes.
seems to be the right decision. But
Yes, our employees will
also,
say, "Mom and Dad are fighting again." We do push
jokingly, but
jokingly,
we
yeah,
push each other.
but it's important
We,
to. It's important if you have a partner to be partners with someone that you trust implicitly, and who is committed to the success of the business. And like I know that Katie, first of all, Katie is such a hard worker, and I know that there's no one else who wants our business to succeed more than she and I do. Like she's equally committed. We are both equally committed, and both of us are in real life where we've both been married for a very long time, to our husbands, and like we know what commitment is. And I think if you can find that business partner who shares your same deep level of commitment and who you trust, I mean, you can make great things happen. Because there are times when I am thinking, oh, like, something that I want to do for our business is great, or uh, we must do it. And then Katie will bring up a point that I hadn't thought about, right?
Mhm.
Or vice versa, right? Or it's just two heads really
Good
are better than
sounding
one.
board.
It's
yes.
a great
And
sounding board, yeah.
not to mention the plenty of hurdles that we've overcome. And I think like, oh my gosh, having to deal with this myself, like I know. I
Mhm.
mean, our partnership is such a blessing, and it has made it fun. Like, believe me, there's plenty of times when we're like, is this fun? But it is fun because we have each other to kind of like, pick up or like laugh with or cry with or whatever it is. It really makes all the difference, in my
And
opinion.
when you were talking about how entrepreneurship is glamorized, and
Mhm.
I have to say that it is a lot of, even though it's a cliche, it's true. It's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. And I mean, both literally and figuratively. I mean, I've cut myself moving boxes and bled. Like Katie and I have sweat plenty of times setting up trade show booths, tearing them down, carrying boxes,
Mhm.
carrying packages to the post office.
I've slung 50-pound boxes on repeat from, deliveries that we've gotten from UPS. I just have to add, one time we got 150-pound boxes delivered on her driveway, and I'm
Yes.
just slinging them into the garage. I mean, it's just
And then
everything.
tears, right? I mean, there are just times where we're exhausted and something didn't go the way we wanted it to, or there's a hurdle, and it just, I mean, as women, you break down and cry, not because you're weak, but because, our the biological makeup of the hormones, and
Yeah.
it's a good stress relief. But I mean, yeah, we've cried. It's all true. And but it's been such a great journey. Do you want to say one more thing? So you're saying like at the beginning, you definitely have to get your hands dirty and do all of
Mhm.
those, do absolutely everything. And I think it's important because when you do those things yourself, then when you eventually hire people to do them for you, you know the right way that it
Yeah.
should be done, and you know what success looks like, and you know how it has to happen. But we're now at a point, thankfully, where it's like, we got to the point pretty quickly where it's like, if you can pay someone to do this for 20 bucks an hour, you as the owner should not be doing it, because
Yes.
those hours are better spent developing and growing the business and doing the
Yep.
harder things that a $20 an hour employee can't do. So
Mm,
we would repeat that a lot. Like, is this
definitely.
a $20 an hour job, or is this we should be doing job, right? And anyway, so
Well, it sounds like you two have a great partnership in business there, and you're lucky to have each other. I'm curious then, last question for listeners is where can they find you? Let them know your website, social media handles, all of those important details so that they can shop, they can follow along and support you.
Yeah, so you can find us many different ways. Our website is wanderfulbrand.com. You can find us on social media at Wanderful Brand for Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. And we don't know the exact count of stores, but somewhere between 1,500 and 2,000 stores across the country. So,
But let's spell
um,
it for all of the listeners too, because it's not wonderful, it's Wanderful,
wonderful.
as in wandering around, full of life, full of hydration and water. So Wander, WANDERFULL, brand, BRAND.com.
I love the story behind the name there. And it's funny because it reminded me when I was in Vail, just scouting out stuff for our Camp Preppy in August, I saw someone walking around with one of your bags and they were enjoying, they were wandering, they were traveling, and staying hydrated. So love that little story. But thank you ladies so much for being on the podcast today.
Thank you so much for having us. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, it's such a great thing that you've built yourself. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for listening to the Preppy Podcast. I hope this put a little prep in your step for the day. Please subscribe, rate, and review on wherever you listen to your podcast, and follow along with @the Preppy Podcast on social media.